everything situated over here. Sorry I'm on here about 10 minutes late. Don't know if anybody will have any time to hang out with me, but hopefully y'all are having a good weekend, or ready for a good weekend. And y'all ready to talk about fragrance? I've been doing all right. I've been doing okay. You know, with my schedule and life around I guess my life situation. It's hard to get sleep. Really difficult. And that's been messing things up for me. But hopefully, y'all been liking the content. If you don't know, I'll say it again just in case. I do like to get the word out, make sure everybody knows. I've gone back to my Monday, Wednesday. What is that? Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Hopefully, that's okay. And maybe every once in a while, I'll give y'all an extra a video or episode on Sunday. And hopefully that works for y'all. It's a better pace for me. It's, I guess, more relaxed in a way, but it really keeps me focused and really keeps me have a better balance. And again, putting out these videos is kind of like having a second or full time job. Oh, Sent Assault, you're joking about that Lucas Poe type of thing. Um, Sorry about that. If y'all don't know, Lucas Poe did a kind of a comedy video. He has his own sense of humor. Check out his content, and he did feature me real quick on in his most recent video, and he joked about my backyard. So check that out. No, I haven't done anything like that, but he joked that's why it's so green. So Boar 80, good to see you. Hello over there. How's life treating you? Anything new for you? How's life? How's the fragrance life? Any new fragrances? Hey there, Gam. Hey, get there, Gamiel. Hey, buddy. Hopefully, y'all are doing okay. I'm doing okay. Holding on over here. So, anything new with y'all? Any new fragrances? I don't know if y'all seen my unboxings on my Instagram. I have unboxed tons of fragrances. Hey there, Olfactory Zone. How's life treating you, my friend? How's life going? Anything new for you? How's the fragrance life? Sabor 80 says, sent the day Aramis Tobacco Reserve. One of the best tobaccos for the money. I haven't seen it at two available, but I'm sure it's still available out there. The Aramis Tobacco Reserve. Hello all. Hey there, Facto Files, Tara. It's a pleasure to have you here, Tara. How's life treating you? Any new scents? What's your scent of the day? Any new fragrances in your collections? I don't know if I had anything come this week. I probably have to go pick it up because I didn't. It's a signed delivery. You have to get your signature, and it might be my fragrance. What was it? Was a 1920. My really patchouli. It could have been it. Been waiting for that since I ordered that early December, so it's been over a month now, and that's probably what it is. So I wish that I had it, but I don't right now. How much new? And hey everyone. So no new too many new fragrances. I have anything besides the fragrance I unboxed? I unboxed Masculine Plurial by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Again, Maison Francis Kurkdjian. It's curious. It's a None of those fragrances, or at least his style, really doesn't work for me. But he did that collaboration with Elie Saab, and I don't know why, but his that collaboration with Elie Saab with the numbers like the ombre, the sandalwood. A lot of people, some of the people out there like the rose one. Those fragrances are extremely good, especially for the price for what you're getting. You know, my goodness. But I don't know. I don't really connect to his regular fragrances. I know that there's that amber one um, that everybody likes. I'm trying to remember the name of it right now. It's not coming to mind. But anyways, I just tried to eat a whole box of spaghetti and meat sauce in the battle of man versus food, and food won. Well, I hope that it was good. I hope that it was some darn good pasta, and a whole box, or that's quite a bit. I guess it all depends on how big you are. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that unless I was really hungry and I really tried. But again, it's not probably the best thing to do. Olfacto File says scent of the day is Henny Mori Parfum. Only got one in last week. Miss Dior Le Parfum. That one's, I bet, really nice. I love the Absolutely Blooming Miss Dior, but I don't. I probably have tried the Le Parfum. I might have, but it's been a while since I've tried a bunch of the flankers. It's really interesting to see that there's lots of flankers of La VS Belle and Miss Dior. Those fragrances aren't talked about so much in the fragrance community, but those are big top sellers. Those are very popular fragrances, and they're pretty solid fragrances, just like Givenchy. Givenchy has the, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, the Ange, the Ange Eau de Mon line. Um, and that is a very successful line that has many, many flankers, and not for some reason it's not very well known or very popular here in the YouTube fragrance community. But there's so many fragrances out there. It's hard to keep a hold of them. But Givenchy is an excellent house for sure too. So let's see here. But thanks for sharing that, Tara. I've been trying not to buy so many fragrances. Again, I'm trying to build up, my companies and invest a little bit. And I have been buying fragrances here and there, but I'm not. I'm trying to slow down a little bit. But y'all know that there's still some things I plan to sample this year, and there's so many fragrances we just gotta try. So let's see. Sounds good, Chris. What's everyone else's food? I had some wings. I do tend to like some good wings. Hot wings and and fries from time to time. So I don't do that too often, but that's a guilty pleasure. Olfactophile says probably Le Parfum is discontinued, so I had to buy it secondhand. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get a hold of. Is it terribly expensive? I bet it's good though. I don't think it smells the same, but I think it's called, what was it? Mon Guerlain Intense. I think that's what it's called. I got that for my mom for Christmas, and there's a couple other really great fragrances out there. They're kind of discontinued and flankers, and some of those really good flankers don't get enough love, and then they get forgotten about. Then they get discontinued, and somebody says something really good about them, and prices go bonkers. So, yeah, but Happy Land does have some good fragrances. I saw you mention that. I do want to try Hane More. Hane More. Haven't thought about those fragrances in a long time. Hane More. Those are pretty affordable, if I remember right. Yeah, those are really affordable fragrances. There's the, what's that one called? There's the regular one, which is more of a citrus. I forget if it has aquatic nuances. But there's one that's kind of has a tobacco vibe to it. Yeah, it's called Him. Manehore Him, Him. And it's supposed to be more of like a honey tobacco type of fragrance. And I hear pretty good things about it for the price. And if you like longevity and performance, I honestly have never bought them or any of them, but I've heard pretty good things throughout the years, and they're not too expensive. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks like it has some violet leaves, some pepper, cardamom, mandarin orange, tonka bean, cinnamon, good old cinnamon, and amber, and some woody notes. So that sounds nice. Let's see here. Yeah, wings. I love wings for sure. Can't we catch up with the comments? Let's see here. Picked up American Eagle if you are unstoppable by Marshalls for $5.99. Notes of effervescent bergamot, violet woods, crystal musk. It's not worth $5.99. I wouldn't expect amazing things from American Eagle, but I might have taken a risk on it like you did for $5.99. That's not a lot, but yeah, that's not very good. What were those fragrances called? I'm trying to remember right now. Is it made by Abercrombie? There's or Finch? There is one of those lines. What's it called? It's called like American something. It's like a jean company. I'm not remembering it right now. But there's two companies that are kind of like, I guess, kind of, they're not really trying to be celebrity fragrances. They don't have a face behind them, but that's what they make me think of. Why can't I remember the name of that fragrance? It's gonna annoy me. I can picture the bottle in my head, but I can't remember the name. Anyways, I'll get back to y'all. Maybe I will remember. Yeah, Ange au Demon or Demon Le Secret Elixir. I haven't tried that one, but I bet it's nice. There's quite a few flankers, and quite a few of them are excellent. Just like we've seen quite a bit of love for the Shalimar Soufflé Le Parfum. which is really nice. Excellent fragrance. Some ladies talk about it, which is a great thing, but not everybody really knows about it. And there's the souffle. There's a flanker of a flanker. So souffle already is a flanker of Shalimar, but there's a souffle Lumiere version, which is a fresh version, and it's got this like creamy vanilla to it. So it's really really nice. I made burgers for dinner. Hey, I guess we're feeling all American tonight, Tara, with the burgers. Uh, that's awesome. What kind of burgers do you like? What kind of burgers do y'all go for? Um, Factory Zone says that's a great deal. Sabor 80. Do you like it? It sounded like he wasn't too excited about that one. Oh, I remember. It came to mind. Let me see if I can't remember which fragrance it was. But the brand I was thinking of is True Religion. That's one of the ones I was thinking of. I've seen people say pretty high things. Some people seem to really have some love for the fragrances from True Religion, but it's one of those brands you wouldn't really have high expectations. I don't know if some people just have nostalgia. I've been tempted to buy one of them a couple of times, but I've never really done it before. Maybe I should, but I've never went for it. The one I've been tempted to get is called Drifter. It pops up every once in a while. Supposedly it was really discontinued, really likable. I don't know, but it seems to be they brought it back, and you can find it for anywhere from $40 to $60 if you look at the right places. So let's see, Mont Guerlain Intense and Floreal are my faves from the line. Yeah, that Intense is an excellent fragrance. It's excellent for the money. Yeah, only like $25 now. Yeah, that Mont Guerlain Intense is an excellent designer fragrance. Highly recommend that you get it. And if you have a lady or somebody around who likes that kind of fragrance, of course, check it out. Uncommon Sense is in the house. Good to see you. What do you mean, or what do I mean by y'all? Well, that's a Southern thing. Maybe I should stop saying that on my channel. But it means all you guys or everybody. It means you guys essentially. And I'm sorry. It means everybody, you, and just addressing a group of people, or just saying something more in general. So sorry about that. Sorry if I'm confusing you, and feel free to ask me questions. And sometimes I joke and I use lingo and jokes or jargon that are more southern. And feel free to let me know if that's a bad idea, or let me know if you want to know more. So legit prepping burgers. Right, that's awesome. What kind of burgers you got going on? Burgers are nice from time to time, for sure. Dre, yeah, everybody's in the house. Chris, everybody's. That's nice that we got some friendship here. Not really. It's very basic and offensive though. Might go okay in the hot summer. Yeah, that's one of those fragrances that I personally like to have in the car. Some people got mad at me about that opinion, but I think it's good to have something you don't worry about. Like if it went bad, if you had to throw it away, you really wouldn't care. It's a fragrance that you would probably give away if somebody asked you, if they, a friend or a family member just had to have a fragrance, and you knew that they were just going to spray irresponsibly or maybe lose it or something. Just have a fragrance in the backup in the car. If you rush out the door, or if you ever forget to wear a fragrance, or maybe you want to make sure that you smell a little bit better than you do, I think that's a good idea. But leaving fragrances in the cars in general is a very bad idea, because it gets very hot in the summer, very cold in the winter, and all that bad stuff. So it can really ruin a fragrance quite quickly. So everybody's saying hello to each other. Anchor Blue used to have a nice fragrances. I'm not familiar with Anchor Blue, but they might. I haven't tried them yet. Are they still available? Sabor 80? Olfacto Files, Tara. Oh, everybody's saying hello to each other. Fragrance Journey's in the house. Hey, Fragrance Journey. We got some cool people. We got some cool cats in the house. It's a pleasure. What's my scent of the night? Honestly, I'm tempted to spray on some more of what was this? I had some Electimus here. I've been testing those. Honestly, today I've been just smelling a lot of things. I didn't commit to actually wearing many fragrances, which sounds like a fragrance sin, but I have an excuse. Yesterday, I'll actually get the review. I don't want to spoil it, but there was this really strong incense fragrance, and believe it or not, it was only one spray, and it kind of messed me up. It made me kind of hard to sleep, and even through a shower and through washing my hands multiple times, that stuff still had 12 hours plus of performance. So I mean, you got to be careful with some of these. I see some people say put on 10 or 20 sprays of some of these fragrances. I don't know if you've ever experienced really strong incense fragrances. If you put on 10 sprays of church incense, I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to levitate and go to heaven or something, because that's just crazy business. And sometimes when I mess up my sleep and I just mess up my schedule with fragrances, then I have to relax. And sorry, guys. When I'm smelling lots of fragrances, I try not to put on a lot of fragrances because I want to, really understand the fragrance. Of course, you need to put on skin to understand it. But if you're just getting first impressions or trying to understand what the perfumer meant behind the fragrance, of course, you need to put it on skin. I'm of course, I admit that, but it's good sometimes. Some days I just sit there and I smell lots of fragrances, and I don't really try to put. I spray on cards and paper and stuff. But it means you all or all of you. Absolutely, that's what it means, Sabor. It's just a little lingo, just a little jargon. What's up, Ben? Hey, everybody. Patrick was being funny, directed at Dre. Keep saying y'all. Oh, that's what he meant. Sorry. Sometimes I don't catch on. So, would we all be Wall? It could be. No, I don't know. I'm not cool. I'm a nerd. Just to be clear. I don't. I guess I am too. I was one of those kids who read all the Lord of the Rings books, and I read all the Harry Potter books, and I still care about like Star Wars, like history and lore. When I get into anything like books, or if I happen to play video games, I love the lore. Um, I I haven't gotten to the books and read them yet, but I know that I need to. It's a video game. It's kind of a cult classic, and they're coming out with a new one, which I'm very excited about. And again, I don't want to focus on video games. Some people probably think I play video games all the time, and I don't. But it's called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and sometimes I like getting on Twitch and watching people and seeing them explore a story and seeing if you can have a conversation about like a story and something that I find very fascinating. So let's see here. I like English Laundry, Notting Hill, Notting Hill for the car. I don't know what's in my throat. Supposed to smell like Ralph Lauren Safari. Safari is a great fragrance, highly underrated. I don't know if anybody is talking about it online. I definitely don't see talk about it here on YouTube. I don't see really talk about it on Instagram too much. And there might be some talk about it on Fragrantica, but I haven't kept up with Fragrantica too much recently. But Lauren Safari is a very top-selling fragrance. It still sells very well. It still has a pretty good following behind it, and they wouldn't keep the fragrance around. They would have discontinued the fragrance if it didn't sell very, very well. So it's one of those fragrances that stood the test of time, and certainly I think has to be considered a classic. And I think it smells great. Honestly, I don't know if I can say this with 100%, a surety, but I definitely think that maybe Allspice and Polo Safari were inspiration, maybe behind one or the other, or maybe both of them behind Creed's Viking. Even though Creed Viking is a good fragrance, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad fragrance. I it did, that's one reason. Sometimes, uh, with my videos, I almost want to go into all this detail, but I have to keep myself back. But when I say things like that, I usually have a reason for it. And to me, Creed Viking isn't too original because I've smelled a number of things that smell quite similar already that you can get for cheaper. And, I don't know if the price is justified. The creativity, to me wasn't there with Viking, but too much. So let's see. English Laundry is great to carry around. I have Riviera and London. Yeah, if you can find some of those for $20, and I've seen some of those English Laundry fragrances at TJ Maxx. I've seen some people they get crazy deals on them. Those aren't bad fragrances, especially if you're first getting into fragrances. It's fun to explore a house that's a little bit less known and they have decent performance. And I used to have a couple of them. I used to have Riviera and what was that one called? It was like Tahitian Waters, the Virgin Island water one. I used to have that too. That one's discontinued now and actually fetches a pretty penny. Ibrahim, take care. You got to go. I didn't know you were here, so but I appreciate you popping in. Awesome guy. I appreciate you. We implies all, so it's not needed. Um, yeah, that's true. It would be redundant, Stabor. That's very true. Um, you should do fragrances Gandalf would wear. I don't know. I'd be encroaching on Hillary's territory. I thought about doing some videos like that. And I think that what was it? Rosen Jones. Do y'all watch Rosen Jones? Do y'all know about the wonderful Rosen Jones channel? Um, I don't know if she did a video dedicated for Lord of the Rings characters, but I do remember her fragrancing Gandalf at one point. I do remember. I forgot exactly what fragrance she chose, but I do remember seeing that she fragranced Gandalf. So somebody's already done that before, but no, I don't know if there was a whole video dedicated to it. But if that's something y'all would like, maybe I could. That's more on the fun side of things. Again, I'm a funny person. A lot of people who watch fragrances probably come for a few jokes, and I respect the people who are able to make fragrance entertaining and have some jokes. I think that's a good thing. I think we all do our things very well. But my channel's always been about focusing on trying to help people find, you know, fragrances that are good value, underappreciated fragrances, hidden gems, and just reviewing it and trying to be a little bit more straight to the point, and I guess being a little bit more in depth with fragrance reviews. And I don't, I'll throw in a little joke here and there. Some people have told me that I need a lot more jokes and to be funny, and some people don't like the humor. And I've seen some people compliment me and say that my channel is perfect because I'm kind of more straight to the point. So I guess we all have a different take on things, but I really don't do fantasy. And even when sometimes I'm tagged, sometimes I don't want to do some of these tags personally, unless I feel like they're helpful and that they make sense to maybe somebody who's outside of the fragrance community. And it might help them. It's fun to have fun amongst each other. But if I don't know if a random person clicked on the video, would that help them? I don't know. Maybe it would because it's entertaining and it's funny. But sorry guys. It's only getting to my throat. But what was that? It was like Seven Deadly Sins, and I saw a couple other tags out there, which I mean they're fun ideas, but I don't know. I don't know if they help. Honestly, I'm gonna do more of the. Honestly, I'm more on the historical side, and I thought about doing it, and I mentioned it. I never did it, but Clements over there, CC Fragrance, she's jumped on it, and she's done a pretty good job of that. Going and running with that idea, and I'm gonna maybe do some more of that in the future. And again, I put these ideas out there, and everybody's free to use them, but sometimes I wish I keep them to myself. Also, I'll do some videos dedicated on, fragrance notes, like the individual ingredients, like where they come from, what they do in fragrances, and under almost not a perfumery class, but understanding what these notes are and what they smell like. Because it's really funny because again, we all have different memories we associated with different smells. You might have smelled a different lavender than I smelled it. You might have smelled lavender inside some potpourri, and to you, that potpourri lavender, whatever it was, that's aged, however long, with white florals or something, might be what lavender smells like to you. And I might have smelled a lavender, that I don't know, that was a different species, and that was in an old field somewhere. Or who knows? Or maybe it smells like an essential oil to you. That's the lavender you're familiar with. But a lot of people haven't smelled all of these ingredients, and sometimes it's funny to see that. To me, smelling jasmine, I know what jasmine smells like. Some people might not. I know what ginger smells like. I could list a number of different things. I can tell the difference between juniper and elemi, which to me they can have similar nuances. I can tell in fragrances generally when there's gaiac wood versus actual incense because they smell different. I can tell the difference in most fragrances of tonka versus vanilla, but again, I don't know if everybody can, and that's one of the things I'm passionate about is helping people. Besides my fragrance reviews and helping people find stuff that's worth the money and a good value, I also care about helping people understand what's going on in fragrances. Uh, so sorry for my long-winded little rant there, but I just wanted to, explain myself, I guess. So thank y'all for listening. Facto File say has hey Indecents. Hey everybody, hey Indecents. Thank you for popping in. Oh, let me get back to some of these comments. I missed some of them. Tara is the Sabor. Everybody's joking. Well, I won't get into that, but we all know that Tara's lovely. Riviera says it's pretty long lasting. My brother Randy has 66 Riviera and the logo of the car, so he's really liked it. Okay, so he had a connection to the name and the fragrance. That's nice. That's nice if you have a personal memory and a connection to a fragrance, and then it helps you, you know, it gives you a fragrance. You connect with it. I need to find more fragrances like that I find that have a memory for me. I found a fragrance called Freeway by 4160 Tuesdays that kind of does that for me. That fragrance to me has kind of a nostalgic smell to it. Hello, everybody saying hello. I mean, he has a car logo. Oh, it's a tattoo. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Heels wouldn't care if you did Lord of the Rings video. I don't think Lizzie has done a full video on it. Yeah, I don't think they have, but I think I did see Rose and Jones, Lizzie over there, address it. And again, I was more of just trying to do a shout out. If you like fun video ideas like that, there's definitely some ladies who are kind of diving into that little world. So it is kind of fun to mixed fantasy and put sense to maybe some of the most iconic characters and or people out there. Is kind of a fun idea. I'm just messing with you, Ben. Keep doing your thing. Oh, no problem, Sent to Sold. I didn't take it personally. I just, you know, I feel like I have to explain. Just be you. That's always the best. Absolutely. Olfacto files. I completely agree. Riviera and Windsor, my favorite from English Laundry. Got 5 bottles of Windsor. You really like that Windsor, man. You got 5 bottles of it. That's awesome. That's awesome. If it ever gets discontinued, you'll definitely have some bottles ready to go. Honestly, English Laundry, I mean, that's another one of those houses. I don't really know who owns it, and I guess I should do my research, but I don't know how long they'll be around. Who knows? And I don't hear much talk about those fragrances anymore. Who knows? They might have, especially with these times being kind of difficult, they might have kicked the bucket or left us, high and dry. So, Olfactophile says, I started a Perfume 101 series a long time ago, but those are more educational videos, take a long time to prep. So, I only did 2 so far. Would love for you to do videos. Yeah. I did one, but it was more of an introductory video, and I did a couple videos on how to burn incense, but it was different from my normal fragrance content. I think it's very good content, but honestly, not everybody watched it. I don't know if it made sense to everybody that I'm, showing you just really quick, and it's really easy how to burn incense. And some people don't really want to burn incense. You can, of course, make your own essential oils or your own, blends of oils and use that in a diffuser in your house. It's much safer. And of course, then you don't have to work with the smoke if you have people who have breathing conditions around the house, or maybe you just don't like an open flame, especially if you have kids around or a cat or something like that who might, be a little dangerous with a flame. So, anyways, I probably need to. I'll do things at my own pace. That's for sure. I've always kind of been true to myself, and I've been trying to be more true to myself. I used to do things that everybody told me I just needed to do or should do, and it's a good thing to be true to yourself and know that you're in your own direction, and also get to be accountable and see the results for yourself. Show me your collection, please. I'll make a video dedicated on that. I actually promised y'all that around Christmas. I said I'd do it, so maybe this week I'll do that one of these days. I've already done a live where I've gone over every single one of these fragrances, but it'd be much easier just to record a video for you guys and show y'all every single fragrance and maybe talk about them. But actually getting the fragrances and moving them from my room to another location will be annoying. So you'll probably just see me pick up the fragrance and show it. And a lot of these are in the box as well. And I'll just give you all a quick snippet. But a lot of the fragrances I have, honestly, I just keep them in the boxes to protect them from the sun and make them last forever, at least a very long time for me. So, DOA says, what's going on, my man? How you feeling today? A fragrance of the day is John Varvatos Vintage. I'm doing pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Just had some wings. Feeling a lot better, and trying to get back into a decent sleep schedule. If you do watch my Instagram lives, which I do just about every morning, I've been getting on there a little bit late, but I'm getting back to normal, guys. So, Lowell, thanks. Absolutely, Tara. No problem. Sabor80 says there's a park across from me that has lavender. I pulled the tip and pulled up a paper coffee cup with a lid. It's a nice air freshener. Absolutely. Lavender is really beautiful. And depending on where you live, you can find lavender out in public. I've seen some people seem to disagree with me. I pointed out lavender before. And some people think lavender's really expensive. Again, some of these flowers can be expensive and rare, like jasmine. You don't see jasmine all the time, or iris, but lavender is not too expensive. And again, to create just one drop or one not fluid ounce, 1 milliliter, just a milliliter, just a couple drops of flower, that oil from a flower. It takes like 1,000 flowers or more. It takes a lot of flowers to make that oil, and so yes, they're precious, but one flower isn't, one little piece of lavender. I mean, it's not going to be worth a lot of money. So let's see here. New Tom Ford Tuberose Nui. Are you excited for that one? Yeah, Tom Ford puts out lots of releases, and it's going to be exciting to see in the future which new releases they do. They're always seeming to be trying to do, trying something new. And there's, who knows? Maybe, hopefully, they'll up their performance and maybe they'll do a better job. I think I respect Tom Ford as a house, but I'm not usually too excited about their fragrances personally. Again, Italian Cypress and Plum Japonais were probably, in Tuscan Leather, probably the best ones they ever made. I am happy that they brought back Costa Azura and their new what is that line called? Their regular line, the ones that are more affordable. Let's see here. Hey, John Castro, original dog man. Everybody's saying hello. Hey, how you doing, man? How's life treating you? Sup, John? Hey, uh, I'm great, mom. Doing well. Everybody's greeting each other. Oh no, no problem at all. No, it's no problem. I know that people are busy. Honestly, I got on here about 10 minutes late. I usually get on here about 6, p.m. And I know that people are busy. I know that people got things to do, and that's a all right. If you don't have, I do upload these so y'all can watch the replays. Yeah, but it is fun to be able to chat. Be here. So, happy that you were able to make it. Centisol says, "Hey John, what's your scent of the day?" Everybody's asking. That guy from Germany who made his own fragrances has some very informative videos regarding how to make perfumes. 2 to 5 minutes, 2 minutes to 50 minutes. Um, are you talking about, Jeremy? I don't know who you're talking about. The guy from Germany. MediSense made one, and it was really simple though. It was just like put a couple drops of this, put a couple drops of that. There is Peter. If you were looking for a video on how to make fragrances, Peter over there at, I think it's Fragrance View, has made probably the best, easy to understand, and the most informative videos probably on YouTube. There are a couple random people who are not even fragrance reviewers who are trying to, sell courses, and some of them are or were real perfumers. If you dive deep into the archives and deep into, YouTube, going back and back and back, I've found some of these people. I've learned some nice stuff, but really, there's all kinds of different fragrance styles, and it's really best to have, if you're really creative and you understand fragrances and you're learning about fragrances, you're going to have crazy fun ideas. And I think it's best as an artist to really just, if you get an idea of what you want to create and then find and look at ingredients and look at how you could try to create that smell or that whatever that you have in your imagination, instead of just going to classical perfumery. Some people might very much disagree with me, but as a self-taught perfumer myself, going into the future, I don't know if I would call myself a perfumer yet, but that's I it's good to see the old traditional styles of fragrances, the Chypres, the Fougères, the woody orientals, and some of these classical styles of doing fragrance. It's like a 30-30-40 blend, so 30 top, 30 mid, 40 base. But I think it's and there's of course different ways to build accords and get fragrances to work with each other. I think it's best to be experimental, but of course there's risk with that and a lot of practice. But, to me, each fragrance house should be very unique. Not that they have to be strange, but how they approach fragrances to me should tell a story and share more of a personality and more character, at least to me. I've smelled lots of fragrance brands, and I've smelled um, lots of houses and brands, and some of them use great quality, but maybe they're just not blended or put together in a way that I find interesting. And to me, an emotion behind a brand or an intention, it doesn't even necessarily have to be the brand, just maybe a certain collection and a certain group of fragrances, as opposed to and be inspired by a certain thing. Um, it's good to see the creativity. I like creativity in fragrances. So hey John, oh, what's your scent of the day? That guy from I read that. Hey there, Lou. How do you say that, Lou? Barbed eyes. Good to see you. Fascinating name. Sabor 80. Good to see you. Tiger Lily Perfumery changed their courses and have a virtual FaceTime class now, and they send you the ingredients of your choice. I bet that's fun. I don't know if I have the money for that right now, but that would be a good thing to get started. I know that Meleg is a pretty good guy. Meleg Perfumery. I've mentioned some of his fragrances. He is willing to, help, train people as well. So, you might want to check him out if you're learning to, learn more about fragrances. But to me, it would be good to learn the basics maybe for yourself. And then if you want to learn more of the technical side of things and things outside of what a book can teach you, or just if you feel stuck or if you want to get to the next level, to me that's what experts are for, professors and things like that. So have you ever looked at using the website Waft, a new way of creating your own fragrances? I think I have. I've looked at a couple of those before. You can pick the style you like and a couple of the notes, and you can take like a questionnaire, and it'll also tell you what kind of fragrance, a style of fragrance that might be best for you. Some of those I've tried. You can also refer like one of your favorite fragrances, and essentially, I don't know if they create clones for you, but they'll try to create a fragrance that's similar in style to a popular fragrance like Tom Ford's Oud Wood, for example. So I don't know if it's that one exactly. I've looked at a couple of them. I want to. I don't honestly. I haven't seen too many fragrance reviewers take a risk on those, and I haven't actually talked to anybody in the fragrance community who's ever done that before. I've never heard that they have or taken a risk on it. So I don't know. Maybe I will, but I'd like to get the free shipping, and I always like to go for the bundle deals. So I forget if it was Waft or not, but one of them, it was like two bottles, and it was ended up to be like $150. And I don't know. Maybe in the future I will, but right now I don't want to throw $150 out there for something that I know that I can't return, and it would be pretty difficult to resell. Tremaine Wilson, what it do, my boy Ben? Hey, how's it going, Tremaine? Good to see you. It's a pleasure. Sabor 80 says, oh yeah, yeah, the online classes and doing things virtual because of yeah, definitely being responsible, social distancing, all that. Olfactophile says that's cool, Sabor. I should check that out. Tremaine says I'm going with Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. It's so chilly. Absolutely, man. And I love the energy you're throwing out. Yeah, the fragrance really works in the cold. Did you see my spicy fragrance reviews? You might like my spicy fragrance list. I made a top 5 recently, and I love that. What is it called? Oud Amber Oud, the tobacco edition from Al Haramain. It's a great value. It's not the. It's some people say it's very similar to Tobacco Vanille, and I'd be interested to see how many Tobacco Vanille lovers would prefer the Tom Ford, or would you prefer the Al Haramain? because both are really strong. And you're right, tobacco vanille does great in the winter and great in the cold. It's outstanding. A Tiger Lily, I think, is 100 or 140 ish for making a 30 mil. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Honestly, the way I'm gonna go about perfumery, my brand when I do it isn't gonna be all natural. I think, but I do want it to be more natural, and definitely be focused on exclusives. And I want to honestly make my own tinctures. I will mess with synthetics, but I really got to figure out which synthetics are worth using, which synthetics I want to have around, and doing a lot of experimenting. It all takes money to figure out what works, what doesn't, what you want to include in your brand. And of course, you got to take a little bit of blends and maybe make your own accords. And that's going to be an experience. It's going to take a lot of money too. I haven't gotten there yet. It's just the money aspect of it. Got to check it out, bruh. I will. Absolutely, Tremaine. I think you'll like it. Hopefully, you like my list too. But you're right. That tobacco vanille, solid fragrance. Evening, Ron Japinga. Good to see you too. I have a spicy. I want to get rid of Odin Sima 1-1. I have seen the House of Odin, but I don't know if I've tried that Sima 1-1. There are some really fun spicy fragrances out there if you like them. And there's one out there called Habanero. I think I always say it wrong. It's not the House of Rania. It's like the House of Raj. Let me look it up here if I can say it right. Habanero. If I can spell it right. It's by Rania J. Okay, so there's a house called Rare Rania, and you don't want to get them mixed up. It's sometimes it can get confusing when there's so many different fragrance houses and they have similar names. So there's a fragrance house called Rania J, and there's also another fragrance house called Rare Rania. So, anyways, this one's called Tea Habanero. That's a fun spicy fragrance too, if you like the spice. So let's get to some fragrance news. Are y'all ready for a little bit of fragrance news? Just talking about some new fragrance releases and see if anything looks fun, if anything looks good. Let's see here. Are y'all excited for that? And again, are y'all having a beautiful day? I hope that y'all are having a good weekend. Are y'all looking forward to the spring? I'm already ready for the spring. I'm not really a cold person too much. I like the cold because it helps you focus and work on, you know, crafts. I love crafting, but also I don't really like feeling terribly cold, especially in the house. So there's a new brand coming out called Fluid Project. They have quite a few fragrances coming out. I haven't smelled them yet. Their bottles look interesting. For some people, they might be kind of tacky. They have like a really thick glass base. The bottles don't look too special, but I'm excited to see if these are niche or not. And honestly, I don't know if they're for sale yet, but they do have a really nice gradient, like a really interesting urban. Like the top of the glass is clear, and then there's a bottom part of the glass that's colored, and it looks like highlighters or something like that. It looks like primary colors, so that's interesting. Let's see here. I'm ready for some snow day. Oh, you like the cold then? I was raised in the South, and I think I saw snow where I live maybe twice in my whole life. And to me, seeing snow is kind of abnormal. And I don't know. I should move to the Caribbean. I actually like it really hot and really humid, and I like Jamaican jerk spices. So maybe I need to go over to Jamaica Mon, and be a spice mon. So I don't know. I sometimes cold is nice, but I don't like it consistently. I mean, I can deal. I like it for 3 days, and then I'm just done with it. And I like cool, brisk morning. When you get that really cool, brisk breeze in the morning, and then it becomes a normal, beautiful, like a spring day. I love that. But uh, when it's uh, when it's cold all day and it chills you and it wants to freeze you and your fingers get numb, I'm not about that. I lived in Nevada for a little while, the high desert. It's actually I lived in some of the places that are the coldest in the USA, just as cold, if not colder, than Alaska. And I've seen like below negatives, like -10 before. And I've seen icicles, and they get huge because the sun in the day like slowly melts the ice, and it like slides off the top of people's homes. but it doesn't completely melt, like become water. It just slowly becomes a huge giant. The snow becomes a giant icicle on the side of a house, and I've seen giant icicles, that are feet long, as long as almost a person. So I don't ever want to go in that. And I also survived a winter like that in Nevada. I lived upstairs somewhere, and the heating was actually out, and I survived a cold winter when I got like zero and negative degrees without a heater. So I absolutely hate the cold. And wow, we don't get snow as much anymore, but still get a little snow at least a dozen times in the winter. Yeah, ooh, that's I don't like that, but some people love the snow. And I was out in Idaho a little while. People out there playing around with skis, sliding on that snow. They tried to get me to do it, and I said no. I've never done it before, and I'm liable to hurt myself. It's not necessarily because I'm clumsy or anything. It's that I've never done it before, and you're gonna slip a few times. And it was kind of getting into the evening. It was kind of wasn't full sun. It was getting kind of dark, and people are still zipping around there, almost pretty much in the dark. And I mean, they had lights and stuff around, but it was still a little bit dark out there. I don't know how they do it. They're raised on the snow, I tell you. And I was not raised in the snow. I was raised in the woods. So, you know, let's see here. Where did you live in Nevada? I went through high school in Winnemucca. Oh, I lived in some random places out in the middle of nowhere, like Hawthorne and stuff. It was funny. It was funny business out there. I don't ever want to go back. I mean, but I'm not beating down on Nevada. I'm just saying some of those places out there are crazy. What was that one called? Like Lovelock. There's some there's some things out there. And if y'all don't know, those are out in no man's land. Those are somewhere where some of the criminals go. And I don't know. Sometimes you get weirded out by some of the people you meet. So, but Nevada, there are good people though. Just very independent people. A lot of them for sure. Very independent people. Alfacto says, I lived in South Dakota 1 year. I don't understand why people live there. My car didn't start for over a month because it was too cold. Yeah, a lot of people have diesel, trucks. I think they're diesel trucks because of that. And you have to heat, there's a certain unit. I forget what it does. I think it might have to do with the transmission. I should look it up because I make myself look like a fool. But I helped a guy one time, and he told me about that. You have to plug it up like to your wall like a socket, and it kind of keeps your car from the internals of the engine, from over freezing. So if you just drive out there with a little basic car, it might be too cold, especially if it's older or not man. Your car's kind of beat up. You know, that's one reason people go for trucks. But even with trucks, you have to make sure they don't freeze over. Some people like that though. I think it's crazy. I don't do cold like that either, man. It's not for me. Not for me. Winnemucca is 1 hour north of Lovelock. Yeah, so I wasn't too far away. I don't think I ever went to Winnemucca. I wanted to go to Tahoe. Never went to Tahoe. Always wanted to. That's where the rich people go, and it has a beautiful lake and all that. Never got to go there. I just went to random places. What was that place called? Like Sparks or something? Well, it was around Sparks and some of those types of places. So I'm looking at homes in Texas. Got to leave San Francisco for moral and political reasons. I don't get into that here, but if you live somewhere and you don't feel like it's safe, and also if you feel like you want to change, I definitely believe in living. Not necessarily rural. You don't have to live in the deep in the woods, like I kind of want to do, but it is good to have a little bit of freedom. And there's pros and cons of everything. There's pros to city life, but I don't like being in super massive urban cities with millions and millions of people. I've never been raised that way. It just doesn't make sense to me, and it's kind of strange. It was really funny. I have some of my cousins from my dad's side of the family, and we visited some of these big cities, and you know, they just thought it was normal. And we're walking in like these buildings, in the top the door. I mean, the door doesn't open like 30 feet, but you can tell like the opening and the entryway. It's like, 30, 50 feet tall, and like these massive ornate buildings. And they just think it's normal to go into these buildings and just see all these things, and, all these nice paved roads and all this. And I'm not joking. Like, when where I'm from, you're liable to see a dirt road, a fourth of the time or almost half of the time, just as like a normal road. So I was definitely raised very differently, and they'd be shocked down here. And and when I was in Idaho a little while in Nevada, some people they don't see bugs normally. Again, there's bugs down here for sure, and some people can't deal with that. So Tahoe is beautiful. I've heard Tahoe is really nice. They do get lots of snow though. I've heard that too. So I prefer the woods, but I married a city gal, so I need to take her feelings into account and find a medium. Absolutely. Find like a good city, like, I don't know, 50,000 or whatever y'all feel comfortable with, and maybe live like more in the suburbs, not even in the main city, and where she can have some conveniences, and you don't that she doesn't feel like she's in the backwoods and all that. But yeah, that's good to find strike a balance. Got to head out. Thanks for the convo. Absolutely. I hope that was fun. Sorry we got stopped talking about fragrance a little bit. We started talking about like the weather. That might have ran people away. But let's talk about some more fragrances here. But thanks for the chat. It was nice to chat with y'all about that. Cheers, Tara. Have fun. Have a happy weekend, Tara. Be safe out there. World's crazy. So Coors Apothecary. There's a couple of these new ones. I haven't tried the House of Coors, Corres, and they have a couple of new fragrances: Apothecary Wild Rose, Morning Mimosa. So those look fun. There's a couple new Zadig Voltaire. There's one called This Is Me. Um, I see if one of the notes on this: vanilla milk, cashmere, and base notes of sandalwood. Sounds kind of simple, but sounds nice, kind of milky and creamy. Has some lightning bolts on the side of it. Don't know what that's all about, but that'd be fun to try. Um, anyways, it's got some really weird motto in it. It says "New in the tribe, J, me, and foe, happy kids." That's the inside of the bottle. That's really weird. It says, "This is me, sent for kids, boys, girls, and forever young." Mini Zatig, so it's a small bottle. I don't know. And they made it like a creamy fragrance. Uh, You never know. It's like, who made this? What are people thinking of when they make this stuff? You never know. What's going on, John E. Moxon? It's K, not C. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I stay in Detroit, and it's very bad here. Well, I mean, if you want to, a lot of people are moving. But I'm not telling you to move. I'm not saying people should move. But if you feel like it's dangerous, or if you just want to feel like you have a little bit more independence, you want to change up life, maybe right now you really don't like going to the grocery store, you could move somewhere where you could, grow. I'm not saying live, become a farmer, but you could grow a few things. Tomatoes, if you live in the big city, you could be paying more than $1 for a tomato. I've seen some people pay more than $1 for a tomato. You could grow tomato, a big, nice tomato, if you want to. I'm gonna move to Mexico. My wife is Mexican. Well, hey man, if you're ready for it, and to me that would be a big change. Culture and language. But if you feel comfortable and you're ready for it, go for it, man. Live the dream. Don't stay in one place and get stuck in one place because your family's there, or because you feel like you have to, or you feel like you can't get another job somewhere, or your career, or whatever it might be. So I guess I'm speaking a little bit of motivation over here. Amazing food and country, absolutely. I hope that I can visit there one day. I know that Brazil is definitely more south of Mexico, but there's just a lot of good people, everywhere, and I want to go to Brazil specifically. I've talked to a lot of people. There's a lot of metalheads over there who like metal music, and it just seems like a lot of fun over there in Brazil. And their cooking, their spices looks awesome, and everything looks great too. So I hope that you have fun in Mexico. Hope that works out for you. Cores, not Cores. Is am I saying it right? Not Sores. So did I say it right? Cores, right? Sup, Tremaine 810 Flint Town represent. Oh. What's going on there? Amazing. I read that. Good people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brazilian women. Oh, don't even get me started. Absolutely. And sometimes some of them have red hair too, and that's crazy. But we won't get into that too much. But that yeah, there's some strikingly good, absolutely ladies over there. Let's talk about fragrance though. There's a whole new bunch, a new whole line. I think it must be a Musk Essence line from Bulgari. They have these fancy, pretty bottles. They look kind of strange, honestly, but that'd be fun. Maybe I'll get my nose on some more of those. No, they're Essence collections. I'm not sure what that means. If they're going to be light, if they're going to be transparent, or if they're going to have a special little nuance. So every single one focuses on a certain essence. There's a rose essence, a patchouli, a musk, and a bergamot essence, and those are from Bulgari. So there's a couple. There's a whole bunch of new fragrances. There's also some exclusives in those similar fancy bottles. So if you like Bulgari, the high end exclusive ones, they got a whole bunch of new fragrances coming out in kind of these interesting, kind of like gaudy bottles. So Lowell Ben, Lowell, you know, I'm not. I'm not asking for that here. No, no, especially not on Fragrance Channel. I was just, you talked about it, so I had to agree. I wouldn't deny that. So, anyways, Rock and Rome from Bulgari. This one does look interesting. It's an Oriental floor. It's an Oriental floral fragrance. It's called Rock and Rome. It just came out this year. Don't know if it's hit shelves yet. The nose behind the fragrance is Jacques Cavalier. I always say names wrong, but it has top note of apricot, then it has osmanthus and spices and base notes of benzoin, oriental notes and woodsy notes. It might not be terribly unique, but I bet that's going to smell good. And it's called Rock and Rome, so that could be a fun, playful fragrance depending on how fruity it is. That looks fun. Let's jump to another chat. Say, do a 30% off sale? Absolutely. Got the Lalabo 13 today. Absolutely. You know, do a, they with the when they're 30% off, you're getting a pretty good value. You're doing pretty good for yourself, I think. Again, I've talked about Dua a couple times. It really depends on how much the original fragrance cost, or maybe it's really hard to get in your country or maybe wherever you live. But Dua fragrances are good, especially with the 30% off. And there's a couple of them. Again, the Italian Palme blew me away. The Italian Palme is gorgeous. Their version of Ani is pretty darn good, and they have some solid fragrances for sure. But I'm not trying to hype up Dua, but I mean they do a pretty good job. They've improved a lot. Again, when I first tried them, to me they didn't blow me away, but they did now. They did pretty good. Lavender grows almost everywhere in the USA, south of South Dakota. It does grow in a lot of places. In my experience, it tends to grow in places that are a little bit more dry, a little bit more desert-like. Lavender really doesn't grow down here in the south or the southeast. It's more of something that grows maybe Midwest. Let's see here. A wife is from Indonesia. I'd like to start a vanilla farm. It's very lucrative, but government. Oh, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know about growing vanilla and how long that takes. Does it take a while for the trees to grow and the plants to grow? Yeah. So are you moving from Indonesia, or did you move from Indonesia? There's some crazy places out there. I've heard crazy things about Laos, and yeah, it depends on where you live. Sometimes there's crazy corruption. I went to the airport one time, and I don't know whatever happened with the situation, but the person was, again, I respect foreign people. There's amazing people out there. Not trying to say anything against them, but this person was clearly foreign, and some people in certain countries, it's normal to bribe policemen and public officials to get what you want. So I forget they didn't have a ticket or they needed to get a ticket and they were sold out or something, but there were seats available and or something like that. And this guy in public, everybody could hear it if they paid attention. And he was kind of loud about it, and he was trying to bribe, a worker at the airport. So, you know, depending on where you live, that's normal. When I went to college, again, nothing against the Russians. The Russians, You know, they have some really nice qualities about them. And I took a international business class, and it's normal to almost give them a bribe up front, like give them a portion of the deal. Like, if you're going to negotiate, you give them a portion of the money up front because they feel like that's a security for them, that you mean business, that you're serious. If you don't do that, it's very against their culture and against their customs, and they're not going to deal with you, especially if they don't know you very well. They're not going to trust you, and if you don't give them essentially a bribe up front. So, yeah, cultures are very different for sure. But we'll talk about fragrance. Let's get back to fragrance. I'm probably running you all, people away. John E. Moxon says Scent of the Night, Serge Luton's Datura Noir. I don't know if I've tried the Datura, but Serge Luton's makes some beautiful fragrances. I love their Santal Majusculin. It makes some solid fragrances. I need to try that one, I'm sure. Sabor 80 says, Ben, what is your favorite patchouli of all time? Great question. Honestly, I need to try more. I feel like I haven't tried enough patchoulis. I've tried a lot of fragrances with patchouli in them, but I haven't tried a lot of fragrances that dedicate themselves to truly rich patchouli. I still really want to get Pirates Grand Reserve from Atkinson's, but the one that I have a vintage bottle of Patchouli Noir from Il Profumo. It's a vintage bottle and it's aged, it's highly concentrated, and it's gorgeous. It's probably my favorite patchouli fragrance of all time. And to me, it blows everything else out of the water. I've never smelled anything similar to it. So Ben went to college. No, I didn't, but I just took a course about it. And there's a different countries, and that shocked me. It really did. And it's funny to also see some of these college professors did have, and did have experience with certain places, and we all took this, this giant this giant test and did all wrote all these papers and did our experiments, and we in some of these cases we could choose, theoretically with a business that we're working with or we're representing, to choose to do business in different countries. And it was really funny to see that this professor had worked with India before, and he wouldn't say it openly, but he kind of discouraged us once or twice, that to in the paper it said that the company or whoever from India had promised this. I don't know if he was trying to assert that they were dishonest. Again, I have respect for people in India. I've never done business with them or anything like that. All I know is that this professor seemed to not trust, maybe some of, maybe taking them at their word. I don't know. It's funny. Anyways, I'll stop rambling. I'm probably saying stuff that can be misconstrued in the wrong way. Respect people in India. Also, their spices are awesome too. So, Kerosene Fields of Rubus. Haven't tried that one yet. I don't think I have. Kerosene has awesome fragrances. I love their Blackmail. Unforsaken, I think that's what it's called, is an awesome coffee fragrance. And I think it's called Unknown Pleasures. I always say it wrong. I always want to say Unspoken Pleasures. I think it's Unknown Pleasures. And it's a beautiful waffle cone fragrance and a beautiful citrus. So, vanilla takes about 4 years, but my wife has dual citizenship. Well, go for it, man. If you got plans for it, if you got some money to invest, vanilla could be awesome for you. And again, live the dream. I wish that more people would make their dreams happen. And again, right now it's so difficult for people. You know, I'm not going to get political, but the government's not going to step in to save you. Clearly, I'm not going to speak on, if they should or how they should help people or who has done enough or who's not done enough. All I'm saying is that your life is in your hands, and you got to make the best of your situation, no matter, what laws or what situation you're in. So you might need to move. You might need to move and maybe take a risk on, maybe take, if you are confident enough to make, grow vanilla, that'd be awesome. Let's see here. Joe Martinez says, "Hey Ben, how did you learn to distinguish the notes of fragrances? Just starting to learn. What the hell does patchouli smell like? Exactly. You might not know what patchouli smells like. I'll tell you. The best way to go about it is if you have samples or if you buy a fragrance, go to Fragrantica. Again, take a grain with salt. Don't trust everybody, but look at your fragrance collection. And whenever you smell a fragrance, whenever you think about it, people will say these are the top notes. And look and try to you might not know what you're smelling, but distinguish or at least try to pay attention to the different notes in the fragrance. And then you'll notice that there's different aspects. You might not really know what they are. It's good to buy essential oils and, of course, diffuse them. It's a beautiful thing to do in your house. You can go that way. And of course, you can go, if you go to a spice bazaar or a spice market, depending on where you live, you can smell a lot of these beautiful herbs and spices, and get some experience that way. But one of the ways I really like to learn, and it helps me understand compositions, is when you look at smell a fragrance, just don't go throughout the day. Just enjoy. I mean, it's good to just enjoy life, but look at the notes and notice what's in the base, and also look at other people's commentary. And some people will say, the certain notes, a couple of notes jump out, and they'll talk about how those notes feel, and you can look at those notes and say, and after you wear it a bunch of times, you might really notice that, oh, mint acts a certain way, or patchouli acts a certain way, and how it smells with fragrances. If I don't know if you have any real patchouli fragrances in your collection, a lot of people who buy very mass appealing designer fragrances like Sauvage and Blue fragrances, and you might have never smelled a strong patchouli fragrance yet. There's not a lot of them on the market right now. In the past, in the 70s and 80s, there were a lot more fragrances that used fairly heavy patchouli. But you might have to buy yourself some patchouli oil, or maybe if you go for one of these fragrances like what is it called? Incidence Diplomatique by Javoy, which I think Sebastian over there, it's smelling great fragrance reviews. He loves that fragrance, and it's a great patchouli. And really, and also really helps if you find fragrances and they are focused on a certain note. So I think there's one by Histoires de Parfum. It's called Patchouli something. I forget, like 1969 or something. And some of these fragrances will actually have the note in the name, and the fragrance will all be built around the main accord of a certain note. So that's one. Those are a couple of different ways you can do it. It takes time. It takes patience. Sometimes I don't understand all the nuances in a fragrance, and we're all imperfect and have different levels of experience and have different understandings of different notes. Sometimes notes can be very tricky. Again, tonka can act like vanilla. Tonka can act dark and woodsy. Vanilla can be boozy. Vanilla can be dark and boozy. Vanilla can be light, airy, and fluffy. And again, a lot of modern, especially if you're looking at modern fragrances outside of niche, like especially with designer, they have these big accords and they're all mixed together, and you're not really supposed to be able to tell or distinguish the notes. They're not really trying to do that, and they're not really, they're supposed to be very smooth and well blended and transition very easily, and be effortless to just wear them and understand them. So that's not their intention. They don't even want you to pick out the notes with designer fragrances. I guess most perfumers don't want you to anyways, but um, yeah, it's an experience. So don't get discouraged. Patchouli is beautiful, and you'll probably get your nose on a fragrance that has a lot of patchouli. Again, when you get a sample of that fragrance and you first try it, then you'll feel it, because patchouli is definitely undeniable. Patchouli has a big personality. It overpowers a number of fragrances, and when you smell it, you know that's patchouli when you got it in a fragrance. So if you're looking for a fairly easy to wear patchouli, I don't know your age. I don't know if you'd be comfortable with it. Some people say it's for gentlemen. I'd encourage people again to get Cartier's Roadster before the supply dries up. So before it's all gone, get yourself Cartier's Roadster. It's minty, so it has some freshness to it. It's depth, very classy. It's kind of clean, very well composed fragrance, and it's a shame. It's by Cartier, and you know that Cartier puts out quality stuff. Cartier's Roadster, it's more of a clean white patchouli, but is more of the resonance, deep, sometimes even aggressive, and sometimes there's patchouli as well. Again, there's different species and different ways how it's used. It's like chalky, and it has this like crumbly texture to it, almost a little bit dry, and the patchouli can also be chocolatey. So you'll smell that sometimes in fragrance. And in the patchouli noir that I love, it's definitely more on that chocolatey side of patchouli. So love it. Yeah, patchouli can be addictive. You can become a patchouli head. Some people are. Just like for some people, oud is addictive, believe it or not. So try Crizia Moods Uomo. I'm not familiar with that one, but how Tom Ford does Sebastian have so much monies? I'm not really sure. He has great hookups and sponsors. I have no doubt about that. I'm sure that he has connections to many businesses. He's up there, and you do get it, sponsorships, not in the way of money. I'm not trying to accuse him of anything like that, but you definitely, he's up there. He has an audience, and just for him to show a fragrance to 50,000 or 100,000 people, that's enough of an investment, worth the company's money just to send him free niche bottles. They send him tons of stuff, and more power to him. He can be honest about it, and the brands, no, don't really care about what he says that much. And if they do get offended, or maybe they don't think he was positive enough about it or something, they can stop sending him stuff. But he does have those connections. I don't know about his financial situation. I do know that he has some connections, but more respect to him. Again, I don't have that kind of money. I don't make $100,000 a year. And, honestly, I'm sure that there are some people who have that kind of money, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some of these really big YouTubers now, especially when they have successful careers, they might be making that kind of money. But I don't know anybody who just has a job like a doctor or somebody who's making like 100 grand a year, who just makes, fragrance reviews on the side for the heck of it. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys are making that kind of cash. I'm not. So I'm scraping by, scraping. So Roadster's good recommendation on patchouli. Ben, good work. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's one of the better designer patchoulis on the market. It's not the best one, but if you're looking for something super affordable, easy to get your hands on, fairly easy to wear, there's one called Davidoff Silver Shadow. It's not. It's more of a musky patchouli, but you can notice it's patchouli. It's a good value for the money. Again, if you've smelled a lot of fragrances and you're deep into fragrances, Silver Shadow might not be special for you, but it's still a solid early patchouli, or fairly versatile, fairly wearable fragrance, and I think it's pretty underrated for what it is. So those are some of my recommendations, especially for just getting into it. Of course, if you get into niche, that's where the beauty shines, and that's where you get some of the into the higher quality notes. And y'all might feel that way too. Again, when we're talking about notes, this is kind of an important thing I've always wanted to say. I guess it's a perfect time to say it. Again, there's great designer fragrances that are wearable, get compliments, you get a great bang for your buck, especially with so many designer fragrances, they come and go and they do get liquidated. And I love designer fragrances. Again, I respect them. But certain notes, the ingredients, there is an expense to them. Again, our luxury fragrances charging us a lot of money, absolutely. Sometimes charging us too much. But to get a higher level of quality, you know, you might not like a certain note in the designer game because it's more synthetics, or depending on how it's blended. You might find that there's a certain note that you actually dislike, like maybe iris, maybe patchouli, maybe some of these notes with big personality, maybe it's clove, maybe it could be a lot of different things. Maybe it's musk. Maybe you always think you dislike musk. If you do want to, you don't have to. If you do dabble into niche, you might find that there's a note or two that you disliked, and you actually end up liking it. Like tuberose. Tuberose is beautiful. It can have a lot of personality. Maybe you don't like how violet is used in designer fragrances. There's some beautiful violets and in higher end fragrances. I'll just stop there. Like amber fragrances, there are some good designer ambers, but the magic happens, especially with amber fragrances and patchoulis, in my opinion. The magic happens in the niche world. So, anyways, that's enough of that rant. There's not too many other fragrances I want to mention that are new releases. There's a couple of new houses. I don't know when or if I'll ever get to try any of them. There's a really nice fruity one that's called Yalda Aqua. It says it's the house of Atelier or Atelier, but it's a different presentation, and it's got like Arabic writing on the side. So that's interesting for sure. And I don't know of any other fragrance news that we need to talk about. Let me check this out. There's one thing we need to talk about possibly. Let me check this out. I can't look up the notes. Let's say, oh, oh, the purple star is dedicated. Oh, I think somebody might have photoshopped it. There was a bottle of Mugler in like a white bottle. I think somebody just changed the coloring on it, and they made the star look purple. So I don't think that's a new fragrance release, but somebody I think might have tricked me. That looked exciting though. There's the new Le Lion. I think it's new from Chanel, or maybe it's just a video dedicated to it. There's Chris Collins came out with a new fragrance. Chris Collins has some solid fragrances. I'm telling you, his Eau Sauvage is outstanding. I'm gonna definitely get that one day in my collection. His fragrance called Renaissance is a great complex fragrance that changes and develops very nicely. And he's an upcoming perfumer. Respect him. And he has a new one called Autumn Rhythm, which is going to be more, I guess, of a fall fragrance. I mean, it's called Autumn Rhythm, so that's great. Um, I don't. I thought there was already a Yves Saint Laurent Le Parfum. What? I might have to check on that. They say it's a new release. It's called Le Parfum, and they say it's a new, more intense version of Y. Um, was I mistaken? Was there what version was there? Was it? I'm gonna have to look that up because that's gonna annoy me. So Saint Laurent. Let's look this up. I want to know if this is a new flanker or maybe their article is funny. So let's double check. Let's double check it here. Double check. Let me see. Why? I'm finding it, guys. See here. Yeah, skipped it. Course Silver. Do y'all know, is that a new fragrance release? Is that a new version of YSL Y? I don't even like the YSL Y line. I just want to look it up for you guys to, you know. Okay, so let's see here. There's the YSL Y. There's the YSL Y Live or Live. YSL Le Parfum, which I guess is a new version coming out. Okay, it is a new version. So you guys who like the YSL Y line, keep an eye out. The one that I was familiar with is called YSL Y. It's the Eau de Parfum or Parfum. The new YSL Le Parfum. And again, I don't know if they do this because it serves the French market or maybe it makes sense to other people, but this confuses the American market. So you have the YSL Eau de Parfum and the new one, the stronger version, which is like an intense or an absolute version or whatever they want to call it. It's going to be in a new black bottle, like a really dark bottle. It's called Le Parfum. So that's some big news. That's probably going to be a big top seller. That's probably going to hit some top 10 lists, and some people are probably going to have some good things to say about it. So, are y'all excited for that? Does that sound like good news? Let's see here. Let's check out. I'm look at it. Absolutely. FragranceNet has good prices. I don't want to be argumentative now, but FragranceNet has almost doubled their prices on a lot of things. FragranceNet is a good place to trust generally. Their shipping generally is kind of bad though, which for some people that's a deal breaker. I can wait on a fragrance for 2 or 3 weeks. I can survive and be patient. But FragranceNet recently, because the supply of everything is quite limited, they've actually upped their prices. So I would actually shop around. A lot of people have upped their prices in general, but I would double check if FragranceNet actually is giving you the best price around. Again, I these days tend to buy from Fragrance by CA, and I'm telling you, I did it one time where I looked up red tobacco, and literally it's the same fragrance was sealed, the full size bottle, exact same size, both sealed, brand new in the box, and there was like a $40 difference from Fragrance Net to Fragrance by CA. So that's why I recommend Fragrance by CA, especially when they have their special sales with the 10% off and the free shipping if you meet their quota. They have the best prices around, and I'm all about helping y'all get the best prices. So let's see here. That's why I like patchouli. Has a chalky vibe. Good to see you, Benjamin. Yeah, you're right. Patchouli can have that chocolate vibe, and Good old Carly's here. Good to see you, Carly. You did pop in at the live of the video, though, once again. I don't know how you have that ability and that skill to pop in at the end of the live. We're just overviewing and looking over some new releases and just chatting about fragrances in general. We've talked about the Russian mafia. We've talked about freezing giant icicles. We've talked about making a vanilla farm. We've talked about a lot of things this evening. It's been pretty fun. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Y'all are definitely a little bit fun, and I guess maybe have my sense of humor like me. Montal Oud Pashima is a new Montal fragrance to come out. Has notes of oud, vanilla, gray musk, and rose. And a lot of people are annoyed that they say Montal, another rose oud combo. I don't know. Maybe it's good. Maybe the vanilla gives it a good balance. It's probably not going to be too different from the other Montals. It'll probably be nice. But is it going to be special or unique? I don't really know. I wish that Montal would get rid of a bunch of their collection and make things that are maybe a little bit more interesting. They have the performance behind them. Some of their fragrances are really nice as far as mass appealing goes. Starry Nights is great, one of their best. I love Oud Saffron, which is great, but not everybody knows about that one or maybe likes it. Arabian's Tonka is amazing. I can only do so much to get to talk about fragrances and get the hype or the popularity out there. I really wish that more people would talk about Arabian's Tonka. It's an amazing fragrance. It's a compliment getter. It's just as good, if not better, and can do just as good for you as Ultramall ever could. And it's one of those fragrances. Sorry, guys, I'm yawning, but I don't know why it's one of those fragrances that doesn't, one fragrance gets all the love and some don't. Just like Dunhill Century. Dunhill Century, even when it got discounted and it got really, really cheap, people kept talking about Prada El Homme, which is good. Don't get me wrong, it works. But everybody kept going on and on about Prada El Homme and clean fragrances like that. And you can get, I don't know if you can get the same deal anymore. We used to be able to get Dunhill Century, a big bottle, a fancy bottle, something that retailed for over $100. And when I got my bottle, it was like $35. It was ridiculous. And that's what I'm all about, helping y'all find the good stuff for a good price. Look up the Lion. It's a new release. Maybe I'll do that here in a second. Is it exciting? Does it look good? I always thought Silver Shadow came a very barbershop. It does lean in that direction. It was more of a 80s style fragrance, maybe 90s to some people fragrance. It's not intentionally trying to be a barbershop if you look at the notes, but I agree. It does have some of that feel to it. It does feel like it came out of the 80s or 90s or its generation, for sure. But it's still mostly a musky patchouli fragrance. That's mostly what it is, but I do agree with you for sure. Let's see here. I think I talked about this one recently. This was a surprisingly good fragrance that almost nobody talked about. And it's going to hit one of my list here soon. It's called Jack. It's from the House of Richmond, or Jack, I guess, slash Richmond. It's from the House of Jack Perfume. It's a Shipero type style fragrance for men. It has notes of ginger, clary sage, middle notes of moss, base notes of cedar, juniper, and labdanum. And I think this is the one. I think it is, but there maybe it's a different Jack. But it was a pretty solid fragrance. It was actually good, and I was like, nobody's ever talked about this. So, anyways, let's get to the comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Okay, yeah, I haven't tried the Lion yet. It's a brand new release. The Lion. Honestly, I respect the House of Chanel. They have some great fragrances, but I haven't connected to too many of their fragrances personally. Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche has been one of my favorites from the House of Chanel. Pour Monsieur, great fragrance, and Anateus, highly respect it. I forget, aren't they the ones who made Platinum Egoist and Eau Sauvage? I'm gonna kick myself. I think they made one of those. Anyways, I might be mixing things up with Dior. Sometimes in my mind, sometimes I mix them up. But here, the Le Lion is it's a new from the exclusives Chanel line. It's a new one. Honestly, most of the Chanel fragrances haven't really done it for me. Really haven't. Top notes of bergamot and lemon, heart notes of labdanum and amber, base notes of vanilla, patchouli, and musk. It looks like it could be good. Nothing too fancy, nothing too special. I'm sure it'll smell classy. I'm sure it'll smell put together. And I'm sure it would smell pretty. It might end up smelling like a very good fragrance for everyday situations. But for me, a fragrance really has to wow me to be an everyday fragrance that's classy if I'm going to spend that kind of money. But it does look good. It does look like potentially a better fragrance. Again, honestly, most of the Chanel exclusives have done little to nothing for me, and I'm not trying to put down on them. But if you're going for exclusive line fragrances, especially ones that go on sale, the Dolce Gabbana exclusive line, again, you can sometimes find some of their fragrances which retail for like $300 for like $100, and it's a steal of a deal. They don't go terribly cheap, but to me, the best exclusive line out of these designer houses, hands down, no debate about it, is Armani. Armani. If you haven't tried out Armani's fragrances from their exclusive line, they have like an amber electro or something like that. Some people consider it one of the best ambers ever made out there. They have the blue lazuli. It's a gorgeous fragrance. That's probably the most mass appealing one. There should be hype behind Blue Lazuli. I'm just telling y'all, there should be hype behind it, but there isn't so far. And there's quite a few solid releases. So again, hey, everybody's saying hello to everyone. Let's see here. It's Chanel. So have I addressed the lion enough for you guys? Let me know. Should I talk more about it? So you nosy neighbor really wanted me to talk about the lion. Lucas Poe's in the house. Hey Luke, is Poe? No funny business around here. All's good. And I've in my backyard. Jake Jacob says, "What's your thoughts on the performance of Jubilation 25, the magnetic cap?" I need to test a couple others bottles. Again, it might have been a fresh sample, or maybe it needed to be aged. I'm not really sure. But my bottle with Jubilation 25 is a magnetic cap. It gives me great performance, and I love the fragrance, and it does magic for me. I did mention one time that somebody had sent me a sample. I don't know if they got a diluted sample or a decant, or what they got, or maybe Also, it put a little doubt in my mind that Amouage has possibly diluted it. So I need to go to like a Amouage boutique, and I need to smell the Jubilation 25 to maybe that's just a theory. I'm not really sure about that 100%. It's just a thought, but I'm not certain for sure. But Jubilation 25 still to me is one of the best fragrances out there, especially for the money. I mean, let's see here. John Castro saying go back. What do you mean by that? Did I miss a comment? What do you mean? I'm sorry about that. Hello, hey John. Hey, how's it going? I mean from the note tree. Note tree. What do you mean by the note tree? Y'all are confusing me over here. Sent to the day, Jake. You tell us, Ser El Kalamat. Oh, the Kalamat Black. Yes, from Arabian Oud. Based on your recommendation, it's amazing. Absolutely love it. It's this outstanding fragrance. I think it's really, really good. It's a little bit more recognizable, and there's more love behind that fragrance. But honestly, I think I might love my Bourdois. What was it called again? I'm gonna kick myself. Um, I have to get back to you, or I'll just Google it here. I can find it. I could go over there and actually pick it up, but Bourdois. It was. It's a vanilla fray. It has that sensual amber vanilla combo. Oudwa vanilla. That's the one. I personally connected to it a little bit more, but that Calamont fragrance is great. There's hype and there's love behind it for a reason. It's great and it's fairly wearable. The Oudwa vanilla does come off a little bit more oody, and for some people they say smoky, but to me it just has an incensey quality, which some people to them that's weird, but it works. So. Let's see here. Hello, all. Hey, Natalie. Geez, Ben is reading the comments slow. I get to the comments and I sometimes get on a discussion. We sometimes have a discussion on the comments. So sorry about that. I'm about to get to the end of them. So Natalie saying hello, Luke. Greeting everybody. What's the most barnyardy oud you've ever smelled? I'm not really sure. Let me pull this out real quick because I honestly don't remember what it's called. So.
Let me see if I can't grab it here. Uh, I have these three. These are probably. Let me remind myself. Sorry, samples are jumping everywhere on me because I am surrounded by samples. This is from the house of pureood.com. Moodhoo is not the most animalic one. I remember it's not that one. But one of these here is Duma 2, or it's this one, Pang Sita, is the most animalic. It could be. Let me double check on this one. I think it's the Duma, though. It's I'm not making a face. Some people would make a face because I've smelled oud and I appreciate oud, but that is intensely animalic. Honestly, when I first opened that one, I didn't even have to pull off the plastic tab. My hand smelled like oud for like 2 days. I'm not even joking, and I didn't even put any oil on my hand. So, Mudu is pretty animalic too. But this one's probably the most animalic right here. Go to pureoud.com. They sell real oud. They're really generous people. The owner is a good guy. I've talked with him. And this one is called Duma 2. This one is probably the most animalic thing or oud I've ever smelled. I think Stevens Navatus has real skank oud. It probably does. This one, it's strong. I don't. This stuff is too strong to smell, even if you haven't opened it. Just smelling it like that, that's too much. And my you can feel it. It hits you. It smacks you over the head. That stuff lets you know it's real oud. You don't play around with that. So that's probably the one. Check it out if you want real aggressive stuff. And again, I'm going to do a video about this one. If you're looking for the most disgusting fragrance ever made, a lot of people talk about Secretions Magnifique. Secretions Magnifique to me, it smells like a crime scene. It gives you that bad juju. It gives you that bad feeling like something wrong is happening or something bad is happening. But it doesn't exactly smell disgusting to me. But this fragrance here is intentionally made to be disgusting. This is Sombre by Stranger's Perfumery. This is certainly hands down the most disgusting fragrance I've ever smelled. I had a very bad reaction, personal reaction to Gray Flannel, which to me smells like being choked out and being suffocated by car exhaust. But this one here is Sombre, and look up the notes of this one. This has like throw intention as like throw up and like snot, and it has all these terrible, disgusting things in it, like mushrooms and fungus and all kinds of bad stuff. So, um, I tried the Armani Privé line. Have you tried Musk Shamal? I think I have, but it's been a little while since I've tried it. I need to refresh my memory. But the Armani line is outstanding. Scent Assault, sorry, Scent of the Day, Halloween Man Shot. Halloween Man makes some pretty good affordable fragrances. If you can find them for that $20-$25 range, solid fragrances for the money. I can tell you, Dusita Oud Infinity is heavy on the stink. I bet it is. It sounds like it's a strong one. And Dusita doesn't play around. Do you wear any female fragrances marketed towards women? The only one that's possibly marketed towards women is this one. I have Kalinga by Les Artisans, which is it's marketed more as unisex, but they don't really say that. But it probably would be, at the counter, a perfume person probably would recommend it more for the ladies. And I'm trying to remember. There's three of them. I'm forgetting the third one, but this is one that's in a women's line, but this one can be comfortably worn by men, along with Herba Fresca. This is the Lemon Verde. Smells like a fresh cut green lime, fresh cut green lime. So this is really great. If you're asking about feminine oud fragrances, no, I don't have any feminine oud fragrances in my collection. At least I don't think I do. If that's what you were asking. Um, let's see. Is Do you wear any or can you can go with Frederick Mall Dawn? I've heard there's one called the Night. I think that Frederick Mall makes that one, and Frederick. It sounds like it's very intense. I've heard people say it's a very strong fragrance. So, have you tried Comme des Garçons Floriental? Jeremy Fragrance has been hyping this fragrance up for a few years now, and now it's in a bunch of videos. I do not think I've tried it. Again, I don't hate on Jeremy. The only fragrance he's ever influenced me to buy, and I will admit to this, is I got Myland by Trussardi. I bought that because of him. He said it was like a more leathery version of CH-Men Privé, and it did and does have similarities true to CH-Men, but it was not as sweet. It didn't have any of the spices, which to me made CH-Men beautiful. That's what I liked about the fragrance was the sweeter elements and the spices, and then it had this aquatic kind of nature to it, and this the aquatic and the leather qualities of Trussardi Mylan. Maybe it was my skin chemistry, maybe it's my nose. And again, I generally don't have a good time with, maybe cheaper or designer level aquatics. And I actually really dislike the fragrance. End up selling it. Funny enough, it's actually discontinued, and sometimes hard to get. Sometimes you can find it for about 40. Sometimes when it's not available, people will charge you like up to $80 or more on eBay. So I don't generally go and seek out Jeremy Fragrance's recommendations. He has talked about a couple of niche fragrances in a couple of his videos in the past, but he usually hypes up the same designer fragrances, usually over and over. I'm sure that he has a decent nose on him, and he does understand and know what the general public is most likely to enjoy. But what he recommends to me is not something that I would seek out. Again, I have lots of experience with lots of niche fragrances. I know my taste, I know my likes. I'm starting to understand perfumers and their craft and maybe their personalities, and I'm trying to get really deep into fragrance that way and attempt to understand the perfumers and who they are and what the effort and the passion that they put into their fragrances, which is diving really deep into the hobby. So, not trying to discredit Jeremy, but I really don't watch his videos. Even when I first got into the fragrance hobby, I quickly stopped watching him pretty early on, honestly. And he's not the reason I started a fragrance channel. He's not the reason I got into fragrance for certain. First started on Fragrantica, and I watched a couple of videos of his and things, and I found people like Coach Rob 619 and Max Forte and some of these guys, Robes of Weight, and those are the guys I stuck by, and I still stick by them pretty much today. Whenever they put out a video, and Al over there like Street Sense, hey, Al's a cool guy. Not everybody talks about Street Sense. And my Mickers used to watch my Mickers all the time. My Mickers was a cool guy. Missed that guy. Favorite Montal. I have a hard time choosing between Arabian's Tonka or my Oud Saffron. But if I was to recommend one for the general person, it might be Starry Nights or Intense Cafe. I also would love to have a bottle of Ristretto Intense Cafe, but I don't have that on my collection yet. I do want to have it. I just don't have it yet. So, my favorite Montal right now is probably Arabian's Tonka, but I do love my Oud Saffron too. So, I had that joint bin, Myland. Yeah, it didn't work for me, but some people like it. So, favorite fragrance from the Scent Explorer goodie bag. Um, I'm not really sure. There was one from Boise 1920 that was called Ultramar, which is probably the best out of the bunch, composition and quality. That was pretty much a masterpiece fragrance. I don't remember the name of it. I remember it had a lady as a picture with a hijab, and the perfumer was Cecile Zarokian, and it was a very beautiful Chypre fragrance. Again, I wouldn't wear it, but it was very well made and composed. My personal favorite out of the bunch that I might personally buy, and again, I don't even know if I would buy it, was probably Meander. Sunset Oud is good. It might grow on me, but from the house of Fragrance Dubois, I think there's other fragrances I probably would probably be more interested in. So that's a really good question. I think that night I don't know if you saw my live. I was live and I when I showcased all those fragrances and I told y'all which ones were my favorite, but I haven't looked at that video. I don't remember right now, so it's been a little while. So let's see here. Let's catch up with the comments. But good question, Jake. Very good question. Natalie K says, I'm getting a big order of deconstructing Eden samples. It's an alcohol-based indie company. I'm excited to hear some of your thoughts. Please feel free to, tell us in another live or reach out or something like that, and tell us how that experience went for you, and if you would recommend any of those fragrances. I have not tried deconstructing Eden. Sounds fantastic, my man. Don't Al, don't upload though. Yeah, he's inconsistent. He's popped in here time to time. He's taken big breaks. He's taken some hiatuses. To me, he's some people, again, from time to time, almost try to claim that they started the street approach and all that. Al over there, and I'm sure somebody did it before he did, but Street, Al over there at Street Sense did the most consistently, and he's the first one guy I ever saw did it, and I like him. He has his little saying. I respect that, and Al was a cool guy. He's got a personality for sure. So let's see. I do wish that Al, content posted more content. Coach Rob 619 tried to come back a little bit. He posted a couple more videos. I don't know if he is uploading consistently either, but loved Coach Rob 619. He was my guy. Always watched his content. Let's see here, but oh, it has alcohol instead of a carrier oil. That's interesting. That's interesting. So does it project? Supposed to project a lot, and maybe the longevity. Not sure if it lasts a long time. That's interesting. Nosy neighbor says, "What's your favorite sandalwood?" That's a really tough question. I love sandalwood. I actually want to try more sandalwood fragrances. I don't think I have tried my king or queen or my favorite sandalwood fragrance yet. I'm still on the search for my holy grail of sandalwood fragrances. But one fragrance that has a good amount of sandalwood in the dry down that I really like, again, is Blackmail by Kerosene. Has quite a nice sandalwood. And if I was to pick out any other fragrance in my collection that has a beautiful sandalwood in it, it's probably Oud Save the King by Atkinson's. Beautiful sandalwood in the fragrance, absolutely stunning. And those are probably the two fragrances that have the best sandalwood currently. I used to have what was that fragrance called? It was called Moon Milk by Stora Skogen. Used to really love it, but I've tried other sandalwoods, and it had more of that almost like the floral side of sandalwood, which surprisingly sandalwood can have that, and it was a good fragrance. I just wasn't in love with it like I used to, so I sold it off and let somebody else enjoy it. But that one used to be my probably favorite sandalwood fragrance that I used to have. So um, great question, nosy neighbor. Jake Jacob says it was called Petra. I don't think I've tried that one. I really love that one. Okay, Jeremy Dunn lost his mind charging $300 for black tie. We're to rip off. I don't try to talk about Jeremy too much. I know that he's a huge force to be reckoned with. He's very influential, and I realize that some people might say that he isn't so influential or you can't trust the numbers. But as far as we can tell, he has just as much influence, if not more, than all the fragrance creators in YouTube probably combined, or more. So he is a very influential guy, and he's going to make his money. I want to say that I respect the hustle, but I do think he's overcharging people. He admitted even in some of his videos he's probably removed the videos or edited them. Edit, if I can speak right tonight, edited the videos by now. But when he did some of his videos, he actually would give hints and kind of say that it was about the craft, and he tried to justify. I don't know if y'all were paying attention with Jeremy Fragrance. I'm not trying to dig up old dirt on him, but there actually was a big fight against Jeremy when he first released his first fragrance, Office for Men, about the price, and also he kind of admitted that the quality of the ingredients weren't very expensive. He pretty much admitted to that, and he essentially also admitted that he charged so much money because he wanted to give people the impression of quality, which is true. When people pay a lot more money for something, they want to believe it's expensive. Or for example, like with a bottle, if you get a fragrance in a very expensive bottle, you're more likely to believe or think that the fragrance inside is also high quality, but it's not necessarily the case. It could be bad, or you could have an ugly bottle and very beautiful juice. But people associate quality with something expensive, so he pretty much admitted to all that. and there was no debate about it. And you know, he has influence, and people will buy almost anything he says. But I do think he's ripping people off. But I try not to talk too much about it because then people think you're a hater. People think you're negative. He doesn't, you know, Jeremy Fragrance doesn't his fragrance army. He doesn't really talk about that so much anymore, and he doesn't really try to promote that as much anymore. And they're not as aggressive as they used to be. But it used to be something that would worry people. Back, you know, I want to say like 4 years ago or 3 or 4 years ago, if you said something against Jeremy Fragrance, you would get a whole mob of people who would report your videos, try to get you possibly deplatformed and downvote your videos, and sometimes leave you nasty comments. And I still get like one or even two dislikes on almost every video that I put out, very consistently. And I don't know who these people are. I don't know if it's because of Jeremy or something else. I don't know who dislikes me, but anyways, we won't talk more about Jeremy Fragrances charging too much. But y'all know, you know, you've seen you know, multiple people talk about Jeremy's fragrances. They're not bad. They're a lot. You know, I don't even know if Alberto Marias. I haven't even kept up with his you know, releases to know if his new fragrances are made by Alberto or not. But even if they're made by Alberto, masterfully crafted, the quality of ingredients matter, and he was the creative director too. You can't hide behind Alberto, you know, because if you're the creative director, and if you're having, you know, your level of influence and control upon what is made and not, the perfumer can only work within the ingredients that you know he has available to him, and the direction and what he's allowed to create. So again, I'm not trying to criticize Jeremy too much. I'm just saying that, you know, I guess the responsibility is on him. So um, let's see here. I'm big on. I love sandalwood too. For sure, nosy neighbor. Catching up with the comments. Sabor 80 says Dua effed me on buying Dolce Gabbana by clone. What do you mean? Did they return your money? Were they out of stock or something? I heard Dolce Gabbana buy is great sandalwood. Overpaid and haven't opened it. Yeah, if you do, if I don't know, maybe you could get a sample to see if you want to keep your bottle. I'm not sure. I'm back. Good to see you, Sabor. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Impressions and quality sounds like a nice brand name. Impressions of quality. You're brutal, Sabor. You're too much. That's good. Tremaine says, agree, Ben, way overpriced. Yeah, and to me, again, my channel, one of the big things I do is, of course, I love educating and sharing as much information in a tactful way. I try not to make my channel boring or overtly wordy, and I try to have a good balance of entertainment and value, and be getting straight to the point. I do my best to strike a good balance, but yeah, it's a value for money. Yeah, Jeremy's fragrances are way too much, too overpriced for sure. They have a WHE collection with the woman on the front. Not too familiar with that, honestly. But it is a real brand. Is that what you're telling me? Impressions of Quality is a real brand. Jake Jacob says you should try Wisa. Is that how you say it? Wis Dahab by Ajmal, a beast and a cheapie found on Amazon. I found it out on this fragrance by Joy Amin. Joy Amin does highlight some pretty nice fragrances. He knows his designer fragrances very well. He puts out quite a lot of content. He's very active. Definitely respect the guy. He puts on a hustle, big time. You know, Joy Amin, and yeah, it's nice to see some of these Arabic houses get some love, especially when some of them are such great values. It's nice to see some of them get highlighted like that. So, I still talk about Louis Cardon Sacred a little bit. That's not exactly a $20 fragrance. It's more around the $50 range. But Louis Cardon Sacred is excellent. That's one of the ones I used to talk about all the time. And also Rogba by Latafa. I still talk about that one fairly regularly and say really good things about it. That one's excellent too. So, what are your thoughts on making your? Have you thought about making a fragrance maybe through Navitus? No, 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 no. You probably know better than that, Jake. If I when I do my own brand, It's 100% funded by me, unless there's an angel investor who just wants to toss me money. Um, I want full creative control. I'm not going to work through a company to bottle it. I don't know how I'm going to work around actual getting bottles. That's one of the big headaches and why you have to have a bunch of money to invest in a company, and you can't get bottles. It's not like you can buy 10 bottles or something like that. To get custom bottles made, you have to have a minimum order, and a lot of the times it's like 1,000, and that's like the smallest. And they actually charge you extra for such a small amount because when they fulfill an order, they have to tool up their machinery. They maybe have to make custom dies for you, and they want you to do like an order of 10,000 units plus. So that's a lot of money, and that's just for bottles, and that doesn't include fragrance, shipping, packaging, labels, or anything. And that's one reason it's so expensive to get into this. And I do need to find a way to get, maybe some bottles that are less custom, are less special, and try to bootstrap myself up, and maybe improve the company over time. Again, some people have been really critical of maybe some of these fragrances coming out of the same factories. A lot of things that we buy all the time, some things that are cheaper and sometimes more expensive, come out of the same factories. It depends on whose name is on the product. There is difference in qualities and manufacturing, but a factory is a factory, and factories produce all kinds of things. One factory produces all kinds of different cereals, perhaps for different brands, and that's sometimes how these things work. But even it's so for me, it's not about that negative potential or affiliation. It's just that I want to be hands on. I want to give y'all, make my own blends by hand with tinctures of extremely good quality, and I don't want to be messing with that. That would be the convenient way to go, especially if you hire on a perfumer. That would be the easy way to go. I don't think I have enough influence to do that, even if I wanted to, and even if I did, I'm not about making a quick buck like that. I want a brand that with amazing quality, that stands for something, that has a story to tell. Ingredients that you can't find anywhere else. Maybe rare ingredients, specialty ingredients, and things that these factories or manufacturing plants are either going to be unwilling to work with or have no experience in working with. And I couldn't even imagine the headache of using a certain type of oil that has a different type of viscosity or density, and how it could mess with all of their machinery and all that. So I'm sure it would be crazy even if I wanted to do that, which I don't. Um, no, but would be. What do you mean by that, Natalie? Dua sent me. I have 14% power, so I need to go pretty soon, anyways. And we've been on here cracking for almost 2 hours, so probably need to go soon, anyways. It says Dua Zabor. You tell me. Sorry, I just refreshed. YouTube just refreshed me. Hopefully, you're not disconnected. Dua sent me Jo Malone Sea Salt and Bergamot, the wrong fragrance, and then said to pick a different one because they were out of by cologne, instead of just contacting me and saying they were out of stock. Well, I don't know if they cheated you too much. I don't know. You could message them and just ask for your fragrance once it does come in stock, or maybe if you're impatient, maybe you could pick a different fragrance. Yeah, things happen. I'm sure that their inventory system maybe isn't perfect. I'm sorry you had that experience, but it sounds like Dua tried to make it up to you, and at least it sounded like they tried to. They let you keep your original fragrance, other than the one they sent to you by accident, and they'll send you another fragrance. That sounds pretty good on their part. So, but sorry that happened to you. I picked 94 Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme Vintage Man, but it's way more musky than the original. I'm just sort of done with Dua. I don't try to hype up Dua, but I do have to tell y'all that Italian Palme is a gorgeous fragrance, and I definitely do recommend that if you're gonna mess with Dua, if you are gonna play with them, try the Italian Palme. That stuff is gorgeous. Mr. Put Together in the house. Hey, my friend, how's it going, my guy? Happy to see you. Getting some love again. I got 14% power here, so I'm gonna be kicked off here in a second, anyways. But I do appreciate y'all popping in. We've been on live for almost 2 hours, and y'all make this a lot of fun. I have to tell y'all are some pretty cool people. Tremaine, you're still here. Thank you, everybody who's still here. My boy Lee, that's good, bro. Hey, Mr. Put Together, and everybody, befriending each other here. That's awesome. Sabor 80 says that was okay on their part. You're right. Yeah, they tried. Yeah, again, I don't try to hype up Dua. I don't, they probably have hits or misses like any brand. I do have to say that, in my opinion, I would rather save up my money price per dollar wise for the original Ani. But maybe you're crunched for money. Maybe you don't want to fork out, $200 plus or whatever it might be for Nishane's Ani. Their version of Ani was pretty close to the real thing. It was pretty good. But again, Italian Pommes is the my favorite so far, definitely. Ain't seen you in a minute, everybody. Yeah, Dua looking out big time after I got my package stolen. That's a shame, man. Yeah, Dua's pretty good. They'll take care of you. I've heard pretty good things about that. Tremaine, next week I'm back to 2 a week. Yeah, looking forward to your content, man. I definitely support you, and feel free to reach out to me. And again, I'm very active on Instagram. If you want to befriend me, and I'll shout I shout people out there from time to time. Definitely get involved on my Instagram scene because I don't know why, but YouTube doesn't like what I do too much. Maybe I'm not pretty enough. Maybe I don't have the pretty girls in my videos, or I don't know what it is, but. Instagram likes me a lot more. Instagram likes me a whole lot more, and I kind of like almost putting. I almost want to not quit YouTube, but put more of my effort into Instagram because there's so many. I meet y'all are great people, and I know not everybody wants to mess with Instagram, but it's a lot of fun over there. So, Sabor says, "Cheers, Ben. You gotta go. You gotta rock and roll." Well, hang loose. I think that's the old saying, the surfer term. Take it easy, man. Send me a DM on Instagram. Okay, I'll try. I'll make sure to try to find you. Is your name Mister Put Together there on Instagram? Some people have different usernames than their actual name. But that'll be cool. Definitely support each other. And have a good night, everybody. Have a happy weekend. I'm probably going to wrap up. I probably got like 5% power on the phone. I've been on here for almost 2 hours. I'm going to check out these other fellows. Absolutely. Check out these wonderful people here in the live. Check them out. Show them some love. I'm trying to remember who else was a perfumer. Earlier in the live, we had Fragrance Journey, which I would love to see him pop in. He always seems to pop in for just for a couple seconds and then pop out. John Castro's fragrance reviewer slash deals with the fragrance sphere of things. So check him out. Lucas Poe has a great, unique sense of humor. He's also, a content creator. Check him out if you're looking for people to watch today and tomorrow, maybe on your free time. If there's anybody else I forgot about, please forgive me. Oh, we had Tara here earlier in the video too. Olfacto Files. She's quite lovely, a lovely lady as well. So stay safe out there, everybody. Stay awesome. I'll see you later. I'll smell you later. And thanks for being a friend. Thanks for hanging out with me. And have a beautiful day, everybody. I'll catch you in the next video. And again, I'll be putting out another beautiful video. Maybe tomorrow you'll get something special. Maybe Monday. We'll have to see. But again, my regular schedule now is Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Hopefully that's okay. And I tend to upload around the 4 p.m. kind of mark. Hopefully that's decent. Hopefully that's an all right time for you guys. And I'll catch you soon, everybody. Peace out. Have a beautiful day. Stay safe. Stay beautiful. I'll catch you soon, everybody. Peace out.